Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion today. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm right next to Beaver Pond number 1. We heard a rather loud slap here just a few days ago. I think she was just letting Giovanni know that this is her playground. And he wanted to play, but then we kept rolling because, Okay, so today I'd like to talk about another anxiety hack. And I've done these before for those of you who've been listening for a while. And this is the good news. Oh, there goes little G. We've got lots of new listeners, which is awesome. So since I'm kind of on the anxiety roll here, the tear, with a couple of videos, I thought I would do kind of a new version of one I did a long time ago, because it was like 2 years ago. So for those of you who watched that one, this is a little bit of a review, but things are always new and different also. So another anxiety hack today is the not today hack. So we did the last one, which is to name your anxiety. Because when we name our anxiety, this separates it from us. So there's that duality of us versus our thoughts, right? Because we are not our thoughts unless we choose to become what we think. So that's the duality. They're just thought bubbles unless we allow them in the living room and reside there. And then, of course, we become what we think. It's very Buddha, actually. So when we realize we are not our thoughts, we realize that the anxiety is a brain thing. It separates us. We can almost set it down like a suitcase once we get really good at it, right? And in turn, it separates us from a shame, because in the end, it's not the whatever extra we have to deal with. Ooh, a bear went through there. That's pretty cool. Interesting. Okay, so it's not whatever fill in the blank, anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism, bipolar, those are all in different categories, but whatever. It's not any of that actually brings us down. It's the underlying shame, meaning shame is, of course, any of those lovely descriptive words that have us feeling not enough, flawed, defective, just like feeling like a penny waiting for change, like we are not enough. That's what actually kills us, the feeling defective part. Like, there goes my anxiety again. They're going, why can't I get anything right? I'm feeling different from other people. Not the actual whatever the fill in the blank is. With support, most of us do okay. Okay, so that said, so we know that it's a brain thing, and that's super, super mega important to get, because we talked about the diabetes example and everything like that. So another one involves sort of tricking the brain, which is kind of a little bit ironic, because we think of the brain as being so smart, and it is, right? We're all very intelligent creatures, yet it's actually relatively easy to trick the brain, and I mean in all sorts of ways. When I teach cognitive psychology, we talk about things with memory and perception and illusion. It's actually not that hard to trick the brain. Well, the same is true with anxiety, and there's some memory hacks that will work for most people. And once again, disclosure or disclaimer or whatever, none of these videos are meant to take the place of professional treatment. They can be a great, compliment to, and like sort of add and help with it, and will work for most people. It's when you're here, that it might be a little different, because some folks need to have professional treatment, maybe medication. Then they'll be more in a receptive place to do some of the what I call party tricks, which are basically strategies. And the party tricks thing is meant to minimize. Not meant to minimize, but to normalize. Okay, so here it goes. So when we're in that, the many ways that anxiety can manifest, right, is the what if thinking. What if I don't have a partner? What if I don't ever get a house? What if I don't have a place to live, period? What if I don't get the promotion? What if I don't get the good job? What if I don't like my major? What if I go all the way through college and then realize I don't like my major? What if I get out of college and I can't support myself with a job? My parents will be disappointed. What if, let's say for the season crew, what if I don't have enough retirement saved? And what if I blow through it while I'm still here? Then there's all the social comparisons. Well, so-and-so has so much retirement. We don't really know for sure, but we're guessing. Look at everything they have. And so-and-so, all the social comparison anxiety with where people are in their lives, whatever your life stage is. And then there's all the worst case scenario stuff, right? My meeting next Tuesday, and then we act out all these scenarios in our head, just in case any of them actually happen, which of course they usually don't. So we waste all those valuable life minutes, So all that stuff tends to happen in quiet time, often when we're driving, or let's say like I'm out here in this beautiful wooded area, which is just gorgeous, or we're in the shower, bathtub. It's usually when we're kind of zoning out, which again is not good. We talked about the autopilot thing is a thief of life minutes. But anyway, that's usually when it happens. And so I often say examples to my students such as, and I know who I can play with, or sometimes I'll just make up a name and I'll say, Jonathan, we're on the way to class, and this is our quiet time together. This is when we self-deprecate about all the ways we're not enough, not thin enough, not tall enough, not straight enough, not rich enough, not whatever enough. Or, Melissa, this is our way back from class. We go the long way so we can go, out of the way. We can have our quiet time together. This is when we go through all the things we could possibly fail at. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? What if I don't have enough money? What if I don't have... And then, or in the shower, okay, season crew. Okay, let's try to pick up another name. Okay, Elwin, this is our time in the shower. This is when we go through all the worst case scenarios for that meeting with your boss. That's Tuesday. It can't be that you're wonderful and amazing and, this, that, and this. So this is when all this what-ifing starts happening. So when that starts to happen, what we do is we need to trick the brain. What we do is, and here's the thing, I'll tell you right up front, this takes, first of all, awareness, which we're getting at this minute. Then it takes commitment. It has to be, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, as they say in the 12-step program. You have to be kind of done with your own feedback loop, your own reel. You got to be done with the reel, okay? And you just get sick of it because it takes commitment and it takes grit. And a lot of people don't like that in this day and age. There's a lot written out there, especially about Gen Z, and I have a lot of Gen Zers I love, including some of my young adult kids, but about, basically the laziness, that the overall, especially after the Rona, the not wanting to put in the effort. You hear a lot about that these days. And the fact is, anything worthwhile takes risk and takes effort. That's just a fact. So good old-fashioned grit applies here. So if you want to use this anxiety hack, which works really, really well, realize that it's going to take effort and grit. Good old-fashioned, like elbow grease, the emotional equivalent of that. Okay, so when this feedback loop starts, when you're in the shower, driving, on the way home from work or school, or on the way to work or school or whatever, and that starts up, the very second, like we talked about with the snowball at the top of the hill, when you become aware that your particular feedback reel is starting, this is what you say: not today, maybe tomorrow, in your head, or say it out loud. If there's no one in the car, or there's someone in the car, they don't need to judge you, or they can, but you don't need to care. Okay, so not today, maybe tomorrow. Not today, maybe tomorrow. And here's the thing, because the brain likes patterns, this isn't going to be easy at first, especially if you've allowed, and that is the word, allowed. If you've allowed this loop to go through your head, it's gonna take more grit to go away. All right, but it will go away if you stick with it. Okay, again, not in the place of professional treatment. The grit is so important here because here's the thing: the brain, even though it's a very intelligent organ, 3-pound organ, is very much like a toddler. G wants to head to the woods. Very much like a toddler. So it wants what it wants when it wants it. So if it's used to, the self-deprecating loop, and that's all been reinforced, and there's a big pattern with that, expect the brain to have a tantrum. Just like if you said no to a toddler about the M&Ms in the store or something, then you say no, a tantrum's going to escalate, until eventually, just like with a tantrum, when we ignore it, eventually the 2-year-old gets that we're the boss. Okay, so that is the same with the brain. Eventually the brain will get that you're the boss too. Again, that duality. But it takes awareness, commitment, effort, okay, grit. If you think you're going to, sort of half-ass it and be lazy, that the anxiety is just going to continue to be reinforced. That's how it is. And people don't like that. They're like, oh, you don't understand. I've been down, with the years. And yes, there's a genetic component, but when it comes down to it, happiness is still our choice, no matter what, even with the extra stuff to deal with. We just have to work harder. So not today, maybe tomorrow. And so when the brain starts that up again, on the way home from work, Melissa, it's our way home. This is when we're in the car, we talk about all the ways we're not enough. Okay, and then you say, not today, maybe tomorrow. So the next day, expect it to get better. It's going to go like this. So it's going to get worse before it gets better. And then, like anything else, it gets easier. Just like anything we practice, we get better at it for one, and it gets easier for two. There's less maintenance. So when you say not today, maybe tomorrow, this is a way to trick the brain into thinking it has an appointment with you. So the next day it'll say that. Okay, Melissa, you said 10 a.m. or 10 a.m. on our way into work, or let's say it's 5 p.m. on the way home from work. Melissa, this is our time to self-deprecate. You promised. I made an appointment. And then what do you say? You say, not today, maybe tomorrow. The brain's going to get pissed, just like a toddler with the M&Ms, and it's going to escalate, escalate, escalate. You've got to stay with it, because if you stay with it, it will work. And again, it depends. Everybody's different, so it depends how long like the loop's been going. It'll take longer for somebody who's really allowed that for lots and lots of years, but it will stay with it. It will still reduce your anxiety, and eventually can completely extinguish if you stay with it. For most men, as I say, many people. Yeah, so that's it. Not today, maybe tomorrow. And you've got to stay with it. Expect the tantrums and continue to just ignore. The brain will get that you are the boss eventually, just like a toddler eventually conks out. Even if they've been swinging those fists, they'll conk out on the floor and be dead asleep kind of thing, because like, not working, this isn't working. And it's called kind of starving the monster is what we call that. And so it's a really, really great anxiety hack. It's super useful. It's one I've used myself. And if you stay with it, it will work for most people. Again, not in place of any kind of treatment. It will work for most people. It's a great strategy. And the average amount of time for a habit to shift and stick is 21 days. And it gets way easier. So here you go. Not today, maybe tomorrow. Have a mindful, reduced, and a day with reduced anxiety. Have a good day.